What is a servant female leader? Is it your pastor or a volunteer? Or maybe it's the waitress at your favorite restaurant. According to journalofleadership.org, in order to be considered a servant leader, you must possess the following characteristics that include listening, empathy, healing, awareness, persuasion, foresight, stewardship, commitment to growth of people, and community building. A servant leader can also be described as someone who prioritizes the needs of those that they lead, are wise, and have a great power to influence others. In my personal opinion, these qualities best describe traits carried by a female. Women are very compassionate in almost everything they do, from raising their children in a loving, nurturing home to completing difficult tasks at work. While doing research for my speech, I found a number of examples of female servant leaders, such as Oprah, Maya Angelou, Mother Teresa, and Princess Diana, to name a few. All of these women, in one way or another, have influenced women all over the world and from all walks of life due to their celebrity status. Being a female can be hard at times, and being a female servant leader can be even harder. Sometimes strong female servant leaders aren't taken seriously, especially in large corporations or agencies. Servant leaders want to see the company that they are working for thrive along with the employees. To some, it's more than a job. They take their company's success personally. If the company or agency fails, then they take it as though they have failed. Being a servant leader comes naturally for some female management leaders. More than likely, they came in contact themselves with someone in their career that was also a servant leader who influenced them, prioritized them, and taught them with compassion and dignity. In a workforce world full of male CEOs and in leadership roles, it can sometimes be intimidating for a strong, driven, independent woman to take charge and make change. When reading the characteristics of a servant leader on the BetterUp.com website, I discovered that these are very feminine characteristics. As I was searching and reading articles related to female servant leaders, I discovered that females are actually considered better servant leaders than males because of their compassion for others and their drive to succeed to help others. It's a no-brainer that these traits are naturally born within women. The only negative information that I really found when researching is that employees of someone who is a servant leader tend to view their leader with a lack of authority because they are so personable and hands-on with their employees. They consider them more of a friend than a boss. I personally feel that this is okay as long as lines are drawn and no one is overusing their authority or being taken advantage of. One study that I read on buffalo.edu stated that during a servant leader study, 415 employees and 109 managers were looked at across 6 organizations. The researchers measured each individual's servant leadership on a sliding scale, as well as their job performance and their gender makeup of the teams. The data showed for the first time that servant leaders inspire their followers to become servant leaders themselves. In my personal experience, this is true as well. While doing this assignment, I asked myself, have I ever come across a servant leader in my 15 years with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice? When working as a correction officer for one of the largest penal systems in the United States, you come in contact with people of every walk of life. With that comes different personalities and values, goals, and morals. I have learned over the years that not everyone is a positive person and not everyone understands or sees things like I do, and that's okay. God made us all different and unique, and having our own moral compass and belief system is part of that too. As far as servant leaders that I have met and worked under, I can think of 2 servant leaders. The first person being someone that I call not only a friend, but a work mentor. Her name is Major Sunitha Davis. Even though she has recently retired, I still strive every day to walk the beat just like she did and treat everyone I encounter with professionalism, fairness, dignity, and respect. If you had a problem and she had it in her power to help you, she would, from officer to offender. When something needed to be done, she was on top of it, sometimes even before anyone asked her to take care of it. As a supervisor over a large prison complex, if she asked you to complete a task and she saw you were struggling, she did not mind lending a hand or finding someone to help you if she couldn't. She never would ask a staff member to do something that she wouldn't do herself. If duty called in the middle of the night during a hurricane, tornado, or winter storm, she was right there at work with her staff. She was like the mama bear or big sister that some of us never had. The prime example of what a great servant leader is. She spent more time away from her blood family to be with her work family. That's what I call putting duty before self. Putting other people's needs ahead of your own and even your family's at times. People like Sunitha are one of a kind, and they only come around once in a lifetime. I am proud to have worked beside her, and I am proud to call her my sister. The second servant leader that I have encountered in my career was a woman by the name of Debbie Dunn. She was a chaplain for the unit, and boy, was she full of Jesus. If you can close your eyes and think of the most southern, Jesus-loving woman from Texas, that would be her. Even though she was a chaplain and not a big leadership role, she still had an impact on staff and offenders alike. She was always well-dressed and gave the best hugs. She would hold you and pray for you and cry for you and didn't have a care in the world what anyone else thought about it. She held herself to a higher standard in such a negative work environment. She was someone I looked up to very much spiritually. She had such a spunk about her, and she would help you with anything and didn't have a problem stopping what she was doing to chat with you or to help you complete a task. Unfortunately, Chaplain Dunn recently passed away from the horrible COVID-19, but along with Major Davis, she influenced and inspired me in a way that will forever change the way I interact with people at work and even out in public.